Morocco's complex history, with numerous ethnic groups occupying the region over the centuries, has resulted in a rich and diverse human heritage. The concept of Morocco is complex because beneath its outward homogeneity, there is a web of relationships that are constantly interconnected. Due to its extensive mobility, the country has developed a culture of migration that has produced 3 generations with different mindsets and abilities to adapt to new and challenging scenarios. Morocco's complex sense of identity is accompanied by new strategic alliances that together are helping to chart the country's new geopolitical course. In recent years, the Kingdom of Morocco's diplomacy has developed a significant economic and political engagement with the African continent that is leading the country to change its status quo in the region. So far, this has been done in silence, but recently this silence is becoming louder and louder. In short, Morocco has decided to step on the gas, and the United States and Israel have not been left out of the geopolitical game. The Western Sahara issue has had an impact on many aspects of the new development of the situation. To understand this, we need to take a brief look back. The conflict over Western Sahara has its origins in the colonial era, when Spain took over the region, which at that time belonged to Morocco, as a protectorate at the end of the 19th century. In the 1970s, the desire for independence grew among the inhabitants of the region, the Sahrawi, led by the Frente Polisario. After Spain withdrew from the area in 1975, Morocco and Mauritania claimed the territory. Shortly afterwards, Mauritania withdrew from the conflict and left the disputed part to Morocco. Morocco, under the leadership of King Hassan II, carried out the Green March, in which 350,000 civilians and soldiers marched peacefully into the territory of Western Sahara to reinforce Morocco's claim to the region. Morocco claimed that Western Sahara was historically part of its kingdom. This led to a protracted war between Morocco and the Polisario until a UN ceasefire was agreed in 1991, and nothing much happened for a while. Now everything is changing. The kingdom's new geopolitical path is also significantly changing the situation in the region. This can be seen in the relationship between Morocco and the USA, which has recently intensified. The recent development of relations between Morocco and the US is evidence of a strategic deepening of their partnership in several key sectors. Both countries have historically strong diplomatic and economic ties, which have been further strengthened by recent events and initiatives. Officially, diplomatic relations between Morocco and the US date back to the late 18th century. Morocco was the first country to officially recognize the USA after independence from Great Britain. This happened in 1777, when Sultan Muhammad III welcomed American ships to Moroccan harbors. This gesture marked the beginning of a long and friendly relationship. In 1786, the Moroccan-American Treaty of Friendship was signed, which today is considered the oldest uninterrupted treaty of friendship in the history of the USA. This treaty not only put diplomatic relations on a formal footing, but also created a framework for trade and shipping between the two nations. Over the years, Morocco and the USA have developed close political relations based on mutual respect and common interests. Morocco is viewed by the US as an important strategic partner in North Africa and the MENA region. Both countries cooperate closely on issues of regional security, counterterrorism, and the promotion of stability. During the Cold War, Morocco supported the Western powers and maintained close relations with the USA. In recent years, Morocco has also established itself as a reliable partner of the USA in the fight against international terrorism. Morocco plays a key role in the stability of the Sahel region and in the fight against extremist groups in the region. Economic relations between the two countries are also significant. In 2006, the US and Morocco entered into a free trade agreement that has significantly boosted trade and investment between the two countries. Morocco is one of the few countries in Africa to have concluded such an agreement with the USA. In addition, the US supports Morocco's autonomy plan for Western Sahara, a position that is not always shared by other countries in the region. This support has further strengthened bilateral relations. As can be seen, the interests of Morocco and the US continue to overlap, particularly in one respect. While Morocco is keen to act as a regional power of order in Africa, the US sees Morocco as a strategic location for bases in the Afro-Asian region. This is reflected in the establishment of U.S. military bases and storage facilities on the ground. An important factor in the USA's increased interest in Morocco is the country's significant phosphate reserves, which amount to around 57.8 million tons, and thus account for around 70% of global phosphate deposits, including those in Western Sahara. At the same time, the Moroccan government is pursuing an intensive rearmament policy. In 2024, the country's military expenditure reached over $6 billion. It is striking that the majority of this military equipment comes from the USA. Morocco is the largest buyer of defense equipment among the countries of the U.S. Africa Command. In addition, Morocco intensified its relations with the U.S. in October 2021 by signing the Roadmap for Defense Cooperation 2020 to 2030, which further facilitates arms transfers. A key objective of Morocco's foreign policy is to strengthen its role in the MENA region by promoting stability and security. This strategy could enable Morocco to play a key role within the U.S. strategy in North Africa and thereby exert influence on other participating countries. One example of the close cooperation is the major exercise African Lion 24 in 2024, which celebrated its 20th anniversary and took place in countries such as Morocco, but also in Ghana, Senegal, and Tunisia. More than 8,100 soldiers from 27 countries and NATO contingents took part. The African Lion exercises emphasize the military cooperation between the two countries and highlight Morocco as a valuable partner in international security operations. Morocco is also pursuing a joint plan with France and the USA to modernize its equipment, with the USA acting as the main supplier. Another factor is China's growing presence in North and West Africa. Morocco has developed close relations with China in recent years, including important trade and investment agreements. The U.S. and other Western allies are showing interest in a strong presence in the region to counter Beijing's growing influence. To summarize, Morocco's strategic partnership with the U.S. and its role in the regional security architecture are becoming increasingly important. In a changing geopolitical landscape in which the power struggles between the superpowers China and the U.S. are increasingly reaching Africa, Morocco is positioning itself as a key player. This alliance not only offers Morocco the opportunity to expand its military strength and political reach, but also enables the USA to secure its interests in North Africa. With the increasing intensification of military exercises such as African Lion and the continuous rearmament, it remains to be seen how Morocco will further develop its role as an ally in the US-led security strategy, and whether it will succeed in asserting itself as a stable anchor in a complex and contested region.